Hey friends, my name is Z and you're watching MakesItEasy, and welcome to the specification point of 2.2 for Organization and Management for IGCSE Business Studies. And by the end of the lesson, you should be able to describe 2.2.1, draw and interpret and understand simple organizational charts, 2.2.2 the role of management, 2.2.3 the leadership styles, and 2.2.4 which is trade unions. So check out the pinned comment for all the timestamps. And we'll move on now to 2.2.1, draw, interpret, understand organizational charts. So here's the simple hierarchical structure, which includes the span of control, levels of hierarchy, and chain of command. And the organizational structure refers to the levels of management and division of responsibilities within an organization. This structure is often presented in the form of an organizational chart with several hierarchies, several levels of hierarchy. And here's some features of organization charts. There's a hierarchy, meaning there are different levels in the organization, and each level has different degree of authority. And it is organized into departments, like here, chief executive into like managers and different departments. There's a chain of command as there are different levels of management, and it allows instructions to be passed down from senior management to lower levels of management. Advantage is that every individual can see their own position in the organization and they can identify who they're accountable to and who they have authority over. And employees can see who they should take orders from. And number 2, it shows the link and relationship between different departments within the organizations. Number 3, everyone is in the department and this gives them a sense of belonging. Then we have chain of command and span of control. On the right, we have two businesses. Business A has a tall structure and a long chain of command, because there are more levels from the top to the bottom. And Business B has a wide structure and has a short chain of command. And as a result, the span of control, which is the number of subordinates working directly under a manager, is wider in Business B, as there are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Than in Business A, which is 2, 1, 2. There's an important link between the span of control and the chain of command. The longer the chain of command, the taller the organizational structure will be, and the narrower the span of control. And when the span of control or the chain of command from the top to bottom is short, then the organization will have a wider span of control. And there's no perfect organizational structure, but in recent years, many organizations have made their structure wider with shorter chain of command. And in some cases, this has been done by removing a whole level of management called delayering. Then we have advantages of short chains of command. Advantage includes the communication is quicker and more accurate, and each message has fewer levels passed through before reaching to the intended person. And number 2, the top managers are less remote from the lower levels of hierarchy. And number 3, the spans of control will be wider. This means each manager will have is responsible for more subordinates. An advantage of this includes it will encourage managers to delegate more, and there will be less direct control of each worker, and they will feel more trusted as they will be able to make take more decisions themselves. However, a wider span of control like this, with more people to be directly responsible for, could mean that the managers lose control of what their subordinates are doing, and the subordinates could make many mistakes if they are poorly trained. Then we have the roles and responsibilities of directors, managers, supervisors, and other employees in an organization. So for directors, there are lots of different types of directors like operation directors, financial directors, and purchasing directors. Directors are senior managers who lead a particular department or division of a business. And department is used when the company is still small, and division is when a company is really big and we call each department a division. They have the final responsibility for the work of everyone in the department. And for managers, there may be 2 general types of managers, line managers and staff managers. Line managers have direct responsibility for the people below them in the hierarchy of an organization, and staff managers, however, are specialists who provide support, information, and assistance to the line managers. And supervisors are junior managers who have direct control over the employee below them in the organizational structure. And employees are people employed by another, usually for wages or salary, and in a position below the executive level. Then we have 2.2.2, the role of management, and we'll talk about the functions of management. All organizations, including the businesses, have managers, of course, and they may also be called the leader, the director, head teacher, and so on. The tasks of all managers are very similar, and no matter what the organization, the managers could be responsible for: number 1, planning for the future target; number 2, organizing like the resources; number 3, coordinating the labor, which is related to the labor; number 4, commanding, which is related to the labor; and number 5, controlling, which is controlling the factors of production. Then we have planning for the first one. It's for the future target, and planning for the future of the organization involves setting aims or targets. For example, they would think like, we should plan to increase sales of our new product range by 50% in the next 3 years. And these aims and targets will give the organization a sense of direction, of purpose, and there will be a common feeling in the organization of having something to work towards. It is a poor manager who does not plan for the future at all. A manager must also plan for the resources which will be needed. For example, increased advertising expenditure will be needed to increase sales of our product. Number 2, organizing. And a manager cannot do everything. The task must be delegated to others in the organization, and these people must have the resources to be able to do these tasks successfully, and it is therefore the manager's responsibility to organize people and resources effectively. An organizational chart can help to show who has authority to do different jobs, as shown just now, and it also helps to make sure that a specialization occurs and that 2 people do not end up doing the same task. And an effective manager will organize people and resources very carefully. Then these, I'll just skim through this. And coordinating means bringing together of like the labor or the people, and the manager may be very good at planning and organizing, but may have failed to bring people in the organization together. And a good manager will make sure all departments in the organization work together, and this could be done by regular meetings between people in different departments to exchange ideas or just to talk about it. And alternatively, a project team could have been set up to develop and launch a new product, and the team would be made out of people from different departments. Now, let's say you have marketing department to know how to market the product with the market research and different departments. And commanding, many people think that this is all the managers do, like the commanding the labor, but in fact the task of management is more concerned with guiding, leading, and supervising people than just telling them what to do. And they have to make sure all the supervisors and workers are keeping to the targets and their deadlines. And instructions and guidance must be provided by managers, and it is also their responsibility to make sure that the tasks are carried out by people below them in the organization. Then we have controlling, and managers must try to measure and evaluate the work of all individuals and groups to make sure that they are on target. And let's say there might be reasons for poor performance other than inefficient workers, and it is a manager's job to find out why targets are not being met and then correct the problem with that person or employee. And necessity of management. Management is not an easy to define, but the list of tasks mentioned demonstrates the very and important work that a good manager should be doing. And without clear and effective management, a business is going to lack a sense of control and direction, coordination between departments, leading to wastage of effort, the control of employees, and organization of resources, leading to low output and low sales. And in short, without management to take the business forward, the business will drift and eventually fail. Then we have the importance of delegation, which is trust versus control. Delegation means giving a subordinate the authority to perform a particular task, and it is very important to remember that it is authority to perform a task which is being delegated and not the final responsibility. So if the job is done badly by the subordinate, then it is the managers who has to accept the responsibility for this. So advantage for delegation. Managers cannot do everything themselves or every job themselves, and manager is able to concentrate his time on other more important stuff is if they delegate stuff to other people or employees. Number 2, the managers are less likely to make mistakes if some of the tasks performed by their subordinates. And number 3, the managers can measure the success of their staff more easily, and they can see how well they have done in performing the tasks delegated to them. And then here's advantage for the subordinate. The work becomes more interesting and rewarding, and they feel more important. And delegation helps to train the workers, and they can make progress in the organization. And number 4, they would learn more skills. Then we have why might a manager not delegate? And there are some managers who are reluctant to delegate as they are afraid that the subordinates might fail, and the manager wants to control everything by themselves. And also there's a risk that the subordinates might do a better job than the manager, making the manager feel very insecure. So here's the delegation. And it's important to have a good manager because a good manager should motivate employees, give guidance and advice to them, and inspire employees that manage to achieve more than they thought they could be possible to achieve. They could manage resources effectively and keep costs under control, and increase profitability of the business. Then we have an effective manager. The tasks for effective managers include the plan for the future, organize and delegate, coordinate departments, command and guide others, and control and assess the work of departments. And here are the qualities for effective managers: intelligence, self-confidence, determination, initiative, good communication skills, and enthusiasm. Then we have 2.2.3, leadership styles, and we're going to talk about the features of the main leadership styles. And for leadership, a good leader in a large business is someone who can inspire and get the best out of the workforce and getting them to work towards a common goal. And here's the styles of leadership. The leadership styles are the different approaches to dealing with people and making decisions when in a position of authority. This can be summarized into 3 main leadership styles: autocratic leadership, democratic leadership, and laissez-faire leadership. Then we have autocratic leadership, and it is when the manager expects to be in charge of the business and to have their orders followed, and they keep themselves separate from the rest of the employees, and they make virtually all the decisions and keep information to themselves, and they only tell the employees only what they want to know or they need to know. Advantage is that it's a quick decision making, like during a crisis, but disadvantage could be there's no opportunity for employee input into key decisions, which can be demotivating to them. Then we have democratic leadership, and democratic leadership gets other employees to be involved in the decision-making process, and information about future plan is openly discussed before the final decision is made, often by the leader. And communication is both downward and top down, and upward or bottom up. An advantage could be better decisions could result from consulting with employees and using their experience and ideas, as well as like a motivating factor. But disadvantage could be unpopular decisions such as making workers redundant could not effectively be made using this style of leadership. Then we have laissez-faire leadership, and in French it means easy to do. And laissez-faire leadership tends to make the broad objective of the business known to the employees, but then they are left to make their own decisions and organize their own work. And communication can be difficult in this type of organization as clear direction is not given, and the leader has only a very limited role to play in the organization. Advantage could include it encourages the employees to show creativity and responsibility, but disadvantage could be it's unlikely to be appropriate in organizations where a consistent and clear decision-making structure is needed, like providing customer service, and there's no supervisions, so workers might be demotivated. Then we have example of leadership styles with autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. Then we have 2.2.4 trade unions, And a trade union is a group of employees who have joined together to ensure their interests are being protected. And essentially, forming a trade union is a way of helping employees to achieve improvements in different aspects of their environment, like improving their pay, being treated fairly, and given proper training. And a trade union is a type of pressure group. And the effects of employees being a union member. When a person starts working or starts work, they may be asked by someone who represents a trade union if they want to join. If the worker decides to join the trade union, then they will pay an annual subscription, and it's basically a yearly fee. And the benefits and disadvantages of being a union member, I'll just skim through this. Benefits include the strength in number when negotiating with employers, improved condition of employment and environment, and benefits for members who are not working because they are sick or retired or redundant, and improves job satisfaction by encouraging training, and they get advice and or financial support, and benefits that have been negotiated or provided for union members like discounts, and trade unions often meet government officials to influence the policies for the benefits of the workers, like the labor laws and stuff, and more secure employment when there's a closed shop. But disadvantage includes it costs money to be a member, and workers may be required to take an industrial action even if they don't agree. Then here's advantage and disadvantage for employers when the employees are union members. Advantage includes they can help improve communication between workers and management, and wage agreements will be easier to negotiate with a trade union than with many individual workers. But disadvantage could be the trade unions can organize strikes if they do not receive the pay levels and work conditions they demand, and wages are likely to be higher, adding to the business costs when many employees are trade union members. Then lastly, we have some definitions for this 2.2 organization and management. Organization structure refers to the levels of management and division of responsibilities within an organization. Organizational chart refers to the diagram that outlines the internal management structure. Hierarchy refers to the levels of management in any organization, from the highest to the lowest. And the level of hierarchy refers to the managers or supervisors or other employees who are given a similar level of responsibility in an organization. And the chain of command is a structure in an organization which allows instructions to be passed down from the senior management to lower levels of management. And the span of control is the number of subordinates working directly under a manager. And directors are senior managers who lead a particular department or division of a business. Line managers have direct responsibility for people below them in the hierarchy of an organization. Supervisors are junior managers who have direct control over the employee below them in the organizational structure. And staff managers are specialists who provide support, information, and assistance to the line managers. Then we have delegation, and it means giving subordinate the authority to perform particular tasks. Leadership styles are different approaches to dealing with people and making decisions when in a position of authority, which includes the autocratic leadership, democratic and laissez-faire. And here's autocratic leadership, and it is when the manager expects to be in charge of the business and have their orders followed, like a communism country, communist. And democratic leadership, it gets other employees involved in the decision-making process. And then here's laissez-faire leadership, and it makes the broad objectives of the business known to the employees, but then the employees are left to make their own decisions and organize their own work. And trade union is a group of employees who have joined together to ensure their interests are being protected. And closed shop, it means that when all employees must be a member of the same trade union. And that's it for this 2.2 specification for IGCSE Business Studies, where today we look into the organization and management. And I hope you guys found it useful and found it helpful, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe and comment down below if you have any questions or criticisms. And also check out my Instagram in the description for more daily content. And I hope you guys found it useful and found it helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, stay safe and Happy learning.